And boom! Labs Legion, we back with another video. We not here for a react today. We got some football talk, specifically NCAA, man. As of right now, which is December. It's crazy I have to look at the date. When you get older, you lose track of the date. Wednesday, December the 3rd. We are looking at a crazy day today, man. We're gonna talk about a couple move arounds with some coaches, and today was signing day for high school football. So we're gonna get straight into it, man. The first news we're gonna address, as an Ohio State fan, a heartbreaking. I'm happy for him, but a heartbreaking news, man. As of today, Ohio State, our offensive coordinator, did accept the job at USF, University of South Florida. Will be hired as a head coach. In a way, as far as opportunities, I am happy for Brian Hartline, man. I think that was a big step for him. Of course, any offensive coordinator moving up into the head coaching realm is a real big thing. It's not so much about, this is a big thing because we don't know what our development of wide receivers will be after he leaves. We all know Brian Hartline's resume of what he did, wide receiver U, why we got that, why Ohio State's got that name. And it's because of this man right here. The product of the wide receiver that he's been sending to the league for the past few years have been undeniable, the best talent that I've ever seen, like, as specifically in wide receiver U. I know it's debates on LSU and all that. And I'm not being biased as a Buckeye fan, but yes, Jamar Chase, Jefferson, which is on the same team. But when you break down year by year of what he's been able to do and send to the league and develop wide receivers, it's like I don't see a comparison, man. Just with JSN, Abuka, McLaurin, Jeremiah Smith, obviously. We got Carnell Tate. These are all were first rounders or will be first rounders. Garrett Wilson. The list just goes on and on. All my for real football fans do know that what Brian Hartline is to the wide receiver and how he's just phenomenally developed that position at Ohio State. Even before his offensive coordinator, because before being an OC this year, he was a wide receivers coach where he locked in, but is obviously he's still being able to produce receivers year in and year out, send them to the league, first round talent. It's not so much about what this was, it's about after this news came out, what happened, man. And we lost for sure 2 receivers, but we are up in debate about, first, let's start off with the number 1 wide receiver in the in the high school recruiting class this year, Chris Henry Jr. This is the tweet that he put out after today, which is everything happened today. The decision with Brian Hartline came today, which ironically was the day of signing day. Chris Henry Jr., the son of Chris Henry, RIP, instead of signing with Ohio State, he left it up in the air today after that news with Brian Hartline, saying, "I have not signed yet. Still trying to weigh my options due to coach changes. I want to make the right decision for my future." And then posted this on his story. Let me see. This is what he posts on his story right here too. Which leads us to see he's falling down to these decisions. From what I've heard doing research, I heard USC is out of it and it's narrowed down to Oregon and Ohio State. This worries me because it was damn near, before the news of Brian Hartline leaving, it was damn near like a for certain that we were getting Chris Henry Jr. The fact that he's not being able to decide is letting me know that that is a big decision. That he's basing this off of is Brian Hartline's not there. which as a wide receiver, like I said, a lot of people, we were easily being able to get good receivers because they saw what Brian Hartline was doing. They want to get developed the same way. So with him leaving and seeing this, that he's not ready to commit to us yet, is something to worry about as an Ohio State fan. And not only that, we have two receivers that literally flipped and did decommit and commit. Another 4-star receiver, Legend Bay. Today, again, like I said, all of this news is happening today after Brian Hartline, bro. Legend Bay decommitted from Ohio State and flipped to Tennessee. And lastly, Caden Dixon-Wyatt, another 4-star, highly recruited wide receiver, decommitted from us and flipped and committed to USC. Boom. So with that news, like I said, bro, man, as you can see, this is just new news, so I'm trying to gather my words, y'all. This is something to worry about, bro. Like, and I'm not saying it may be a over, like, thinking decision, but it's like, what does this mean for the future, bro? Like I said, it was easily the best receivers wanted to go to us because they knew what Brian Hartline could do developing that position that they are in. And it's like, from now on, like, of course, Ohio State, we're gonna get those high offers, just regardless. But specifically wide receivers, it makes me want to question, like, from here on out, will we have that edge on the rest of college football losing Brian Hartline, man? And it's obvious the day that he flipped, we lost 2, and it's up for grabs with our 3rd, which is the best wide receiver in the recruiting class. So it's no question that it's already affecting us. And he's still actually a OC. He's going to finish the year out. We didn't kick him to the curb like Lane Kiffin, and we're going to speak on that too. That's the other situation we're going to speak on, the Lane Kiffin situation. He's going to finish the year out, and hopefully we get a run, praying for another back-to-back natty. But it's like, this changes the future, bro. This changes, obviously it does, but like, the wide receiver room, this changes it. I honestly think, personally, I've been seeing a lot of back and forth, like Jeremiah might hit the portal. I don't believe Jeremiah is going to stay a Buckeye. I feel like he's indulged and been part of our culture at Ohio State, where he's going to, next year, obviously, he's not going to stay for a senior year. Next year is going to be his last year. Obviously, the NFL wants him. The NFL wanted him last year. Jeremiah would have been in the first round last year, this year, and will be next year. I think he's going to stay. I've been hearing speculation and all that. I think Jeremiah's going to ride it out regardless. He got his quarterback, Julian Sain, a young dude that's obviously going to be his quarterback next year. He's going to be there when he leaves. So he got his chemistry with all that. But it's my problem with here on out. What does that mean for the wide receivers? Obviously, we're a winning program, especially if we win again. They're going to want, good players are going to want to play for a good team. And Ryan Day's a good coach. But everybody knows that Brian Hartline was like our selling point, especially for a receiver. Like, obviously, receiver. Like, if you want to be a wide receiver, we have the best development coach, coordinator that's going to get you there. And now that edge goes to University of South Florida. Even, in which I say, even if USF, he might not turn around, he may do it. We don't know. It's going to be good receivers want to go to USF now just because they know it's not one person in the NCAA that's more qualified at getting them prepared for the NFL than Brian Hartline. It just leaves with questions of like what our future is, what it's going to be. And it's a real good question. As an Ohio State fan, it kind of gets me nervous. Not too nervous because we have a legendary season right now. We have a chance to win it back-to-back. So I'm not going to dwell on what next year looks like. But I just have to think, like, what does this mean for us in the future, man? Like, that's some crazy news. And just, like, it obviously affected because, like I'm going to keep saying, 3 of our top receivers, 2 of them actually decommitted and went somewhere else. And Chris Henry, we're in a whole battle with Dan Lanning trying to get him right now. Now, switching to the situation, like I said, with Lane Kiffin. So, if anybody knows, Lane Kiffin did accepted a job at LSU, 7 years, $91 million. Was an Ole Miss coach. What's the best thing to ever happen to Ole Miss? Literally, if you look it up, Ole Miss hasn't had a better run in these past 3 or 4 years ever in program history. Like, each year he's been there, at the most they've had like 2 losses. This year they're actively in the best season in program history with only 1 loss. They're like number 6, I believe. It's not so much about the news of him leaving, it's how it got handled is what I want to talk about. Ole Miss decided they don't want him to finish out the season. And Lane Kiffin has said on different interviews and tweets, he did not want to lead them guys. He wanted to finish his season out. This is a legendary series. They have something to do. They have a playoff run they could take control of, make a deep run in the playoffs with him at the helm being the head coach. I don't agree personally about how the athletic director at Ole Miss, whoever the powers of whoever made the decision of they didn't want him to come back to finish the season, or to stay to finish the season, is what my problem is. Because LSU has openly said, Lane Kiffin confirmed it, that LSU said they had no problem with Lane Kiffin finishing his season at Ole Miss and going to them next year, finish his run and all that. It was Ole Miss specifically that was just salty and bitter that he was leaving for a better opportunity. LSU has way more money. Their stadium, way more people. I think I saw Ole Miss's seats like 70 to 80,000 people, when LSU sits one of their top 3 hardest places to play, Death Valley. It's a real hard place to play. A tough environment. It's way more crowd. It's in way more NIL money. And anybody knows to where it's shifted college football right now, and from here on out, I believe the reason why Nick Saban left, kids aren't going to programs no more because, they have this many championships, their culture, they have this many Heismans and all that. It's specifically about how much you about to give me. This shit is like a baby NFL. Like, people want to know how much of a bag you gonna throw me to play for you. And he knows LSU, he's able to leverage that NIL money to be able to get better talent than what he would at Ole Miss. And it's like, as a coach, you can't get mad at a person taking a better opportunity. Same thing with Brian Hartline, bro. Anybody sitting here, yes, as a fan, you're going to feel mad and all that. But if any job, whatever job you in now, if you have an opportunity to get a better job, I would have wings to fly away before I would believe that you would deny that job. Anybody's going to get a better opportunity, bro. So for them to be so in their feelings, and I heard that they said he can't finish unless he signs an extension. They don't want him to finish the season, which is crazy because they're so prideful and so in their feelings about this decision that he decided to make, that they are jeopardizing literally the best season they have in program history right now. And I can't agree with that. Like, and you have to give appreciation for what he did for that team. Before then, they were like they had maybe a couple upsets here and there, but Ole Miss was nothing until Lane came in and completely changed the culture, made the environment a winning environment, changed everything, bro. Like I said, he's had the best run. Ole Miss has had the best run in league history, and specifically this season, the best season in program history. The fact that you're so in your feelings that he's trying to get a better opportunity, you're jeopardizing your season, not letting him finish the job. I just can't get down with that, bro. And I feel like they're making a bad decision. Like, let him finish that thing out. We don't know. Now, I don't believe Ole Miss will win. You never know, though. Lane Kiffin's a great coach. He comes from a great coaching tree. He was under Saban. He was under He was under another big coach. He's been around great coaches. That's why, and he's a great coach. Let him finish his job out. It'd be different if he got the job and just left in the middle of the night. which I did hear he has did at other universities before coming up to this point. But if he wanted to stay and finish that season out, let him finish his ride out, man. He started this car up, elevated the car up. Let him finish the ride out, man. Like, just because he's leaving for a better opportunity, that's not a right reason for him to not finish that out. And y'all jeopardizing, like I said, one of the best seasons y'all had. And the college football committee, I was watching ESPN today, they're already taking that in consideration to where they might drop the ranks in the CFB, in this CFB, just because Lane Kiffin's not there to rally those guys through the playoffs. Same thing. It's like a coach is just like, if a team, it's just like a team could be making it in the college football playoffs and their star quarterback, kind of like the Florida State situation with Travis a few years ago. They didn't make it because Travis had that season-ending injury, and they know that plays a big part in that. Same thing with Lane Kiffin, bro. Just because he's not a player, bro, he has a big part of why that team is good this year, bro. Whether you like him or whatever your feelings or how you feel he handled all that, it's inevitable that this man turned this program around. It's the reason why that program is where they at, and the reason why that team is where they are. And any good recruits, a lot of people want to play for him. And then I've been hearing people say, well, no, why would they let him finish so he could be doing undercover recruiting, trying to bring coaches and all that. How I look at it, that's not going to change. Just because you're kicking him out right now, it's not going to change. Any player that's at Ole Miss or any coaches that were under him, whether you keep him now or at the end of the year, they're going to still follow him. So it's like, what are y'all are literally doing this because what? Like, y'all prideful, like, y'all in y'all's feelings. And me personally, I don't agree on that, man. And all of this is just coming to like a crazy week in college football, bro. And it's like, damn, man, like, these moving around of coaches is shifting a lot of things, bro. So they're shifting a lot of things in recruiting and playoffs. It's a lot of things going on, man. It's been a couple other universities. I can't think of their name off rip of the coaches. Like Florida, I know they got their new coach and different things like that. But like specifically Lane Kiffin and this Brian Hartline move, I feel like impacted both of these programs where they're leaving and to where they're going to, like, crazy. Affected them in... We're not going to know until, obviously, in the future when they get into their program, when he gets to LSU and when Brian Hartline gets to USF. But it's not only going to change the whole dynamic of where the team they're going, but the team they're leaving behind, it leaves question marks. Will Ohio State have that production at wide receiver and offense and etc. when Brian Hartline leaves? We don't know. Will Ole Miss be the same when Lane Kiffin leaves? And I believe they won't be at all. When he leaves, they're going to go back to probably where they were before them. Ohio State's a little different situation because we still have Ryan Day. We still have our head coach. Our name still does a lot of big recruiting. You want to play for them Buckeyes because you know they're going to be in contention to win the championship year in and year out. You know you're going to be on televised program. I don't think it really shifts and changes Ohio State as much as Ole Miss with Lane Kiffin. But specifically in the wide receiver room with Ohio State and in the future, I think that's it's going to change the dynamic in a lot of things. Obviously, it already is with these recruits flipping and not wanting to commit and stuff. But let me know how y'all feel about this situation. What's y'all's take on Lane Kiffin? Did you think he handled that? How do you think Ole Miss handled that? And the situation with Brian Hartline, what does this mean for Ohio State from here out on? Does this give an edge for USF in the wide receiver room now that he's going there? I want to hear what y'all think. What's y'all's take? Or any debates? Just make sure y'all drop that in the comments. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. And I'll see y'all soon, man. Peace.
I'm going dollar for dollar. 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 She screaming, she holler, she liking the way that I walk. I don't need business I'm on, and I do all this shit on my own. Now I'm writing on my wrongs. Picking up pieces I'm on.
If y'all not watching my daddy, what are y'all doing?